A book in a UK library written in a language AI still can't decode. In the quiet vault of the world's great libraries, there exists a book that has resisted every attempt at understanding for more than 600 years. It is not hidden, it is not forbidden. It has been photographed, scanned, copied, analyzed, and digitized thousands of times. Yet its meaning remains unknown. Today, this manuscript is preserved and studied through institutions connected to the United Kingdom, and it stands as one of the most analyzed texts in human history. Despite modern linguistics, cryptography, and artificial intelligence, its language has never been decoded. This book is known as the Voynich manuscript. Its story begins not with mystery, but with paper. Scientific analysis has confirmed that the parchment used to create the manuscript was made from calfskin and dates to the early 15th century, between 1404 and 1438. This result is not disputed. Radiocarbon dating places the material firmly in medieval Europe. The ink composition matches materials available during the same period. The book is authentic. It is not a modern hoax. The manuscript consists of over 200 pages filled with handwritten text and strange illustrations. The script does not match any known language. The characters do not correspond directly to Latin, Greek, Arabic, Hebrew, or any known medieval cipher system. The writing flows smoothly, with consistent spacing and structure, suggesting fluency rather than randomness. Whoever wrote it knew exactly what they were doing. The illustrations deepen the mystery. The pages depict unfamiliar plants that do not correspond precisely to any known species. Some resemble combinations of real plants. Others appear entirely invented. There are diagrams of astronomical charts, circular systems, and star-like symbols. One section shows nude human figures, mostly female, bathing in interconnected pools and tubes that resemble anatomical or hydraulic systems. Another section contains jars and vessels, as if referencing pharmacology or alchemy. The manuscript is divided into sections by theme, though none are labeled in a recognizable language. Scholars generally identify sections related to botany, astronomy, biology, cosmology, and medicine. These classifications are based solely on imagery, not text. The writing itself follows rules. Statistical analysis shows that the word distribution resembles natural language. Certain words appear frequently, others appear only once. Some patterns resemble grammar. Prefixes and suffixes repeat in consistent positions. The text is not random scribbling. It behaves like a real language. Yet, no one can read it. The manuscript entered recorded history in the early 17th century. It was owned by Emperor Rudolf II of the Holy Roman Empire, a ruler known for his fascination with alchemy, astrology, and hidden knowledge. According to surviving letters, Rudolf believed the book was written by Roger Bacon, a medieval English philosopher. He reportedly paid a large sum for it. After Rudolph's death, the manuscript passed through the hands of scholars and collectors. Eventually, it was acquired by Wilfrid Voynich, a rare book dealer, in 1912. Voynich recognized immediately that the manuscript was unique. He publicized it, photographed it, and invited scholars to examine it. From that point onward, the manuscript became a global obsession. Throughout the 20th century, the best minds in cryptography attempted to decode the text. During World War II, Allied codebreakers, including experts who cracked military ciphers, examined the manuscript. They failed. Linguists compared it to hundreds of known languages. None matched. Mathematicians analyzed its structure. It did not behave like a simple substitution cipher. Theories multiplied. Some claimed it was written in an extinct language. Others suggested it was a sophisticated cipher using multiple layers of encryption. Some proposed that it encoded a phonetic system no longer used. Others argued it was an artificial language created for secrecy. One theory claimed the manuscript was meaningless, a medieval hoax designed to look convincing. This theory collapsed under statistical scrutiny. Random text does not behave like the Voynich manuscript. The internal consistency is too strong. The patterns are too deliberate. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, computers entered the investigation. Algorithms compared the manuscript's text to massive linguistic databases. Machine learning models searched for correlations. Artificial intelligence systems analyzed syntax, entropy, and structure. None produced a readable translation. AI confirms something important. The text is structured. It is not noise. It is not random. But it does not match any known linguistic family. Some researchers suggested the manuscript encodes information through visual metaphor rather than direct language. Others proposed that it is a mnemonic system meant only for its creator or a small group. There are also theories linking it to medieval medical traditions, herbal knowledge, or secret societies. Despite centuries of study, no interpretation has been universally accepted. The manuscript's connection to the United Kingdom lies not only in its early attribution to Roger Bacon, but in its modern academic stewardship. British scholars, cryptographers, and institutions have been among the most active in its analysis. High-resolution scans have been studied extensively by British-based researchers. The manuscript has been featured in British academic journals, documentaries, and exhibitions focused on unsolved historical texts. What makes the Voynich manuscript unique is not just that it remains undeciphered. It is that every test confirms it should be readable. The ink is deliberate, the handwriting is confident, the structure is consistent. The illustrations align with themes familiar to medieval science and medicine, and yet the meaning remains sealed. This is not a failure of technology. It is a reminder of the limits of knowledge. A single book, written by human hands using human tools, has resisted interpretation across generations of scholars and machines. The manuscript does not hide because it is locked away. It hides because its logic belongs to a world we no longer fully understand. The pages remain silent. As analysis of the Voynich manuscript advanced, scholars began to understand that its resistance to decoding was not accidental. The text does not behave like a simple cipher, but it also does not behave like nonsense. This contradiction is the core of the mystery. When linguists measured the manuscript's entropy, the results placed it firmly between known human languages and encoded text. Random writing produces high entropy. Simple ciphers produce detectable repetition. The Voynich text produces neither. Its structure resembles natural language, yet it does not align with any known grammatical system. Word patterns repeat with positional logic. Certain words appear almost exclusively at the beginnings of lines. Others appear near the ends. Some characters rarely occur next to each other. This behavior suggests grammatical rules. No hoaxer of the 15th century could have engineered this level of linguistic consistency without understanding principles that were not formally described until centuries later. The illustrations provide The manuscript's resistance to decoding continued even as analytical methods became more advanced. When computers examined the text at scale, they confirmed something critical. The symbols were not random. The distribution of characters followed Zipf's law, a statistical pattern found in natural human languages. This meant the text behaved like meaningful communication rather than fabricated noise. At the same time, it failed to correspond to any known linguistic system ever recorded. Attempts to treat the manuscript as a cipher repeatedly failed. Simple substitution ciphers were ruled out early. Polyalphabetic systems did not fit. Steganographic theories collapsed under scrutiny. No consistent plain text emerged from any cryptographic approach. What researchers discovered instead was that the manuscript followed its own internal rules, rules that appeared complete and self-contained. This led to the hypothesis that the manuscript might represent a constructed language. In the medieval period, scholars occasionally created artificial languages to preserve secret knowledge or encode religious and scientific ideas. These languages were not designed for everyday speech. They were symbolic systems meant to be understood only by initiates. If the Voynich manuscript represents such a system, its meaning may never be fully recovered without the cultural framework that created it. Another possibility explored seriously by scholars is that the manuscript encodes information phonetically through an unknown script. In this model, the symbols do not represent letters, but sounds, syllables, or concepts. This would explain why the text appears language-like, while remaining undecipherable. Without knowing the underlying spoken language or reference system, translation becomes impossible. The illustrations support this idea. They do not function as literal diagrams. They appear symbolic, instructional, and mnemonic. The plants may not represent physical species, but categories of ingredients. The human figures may not depict anatomy, but processes. The astronomical charts may not map stars, but time cycles used for medical or ritual purposes. AI analysis strengthened this interpretation rather than weakening it. Machine learning models trained to detect semantic meaning found consistent internal correlations between text and imagery. Certain symbols appeared more frequently near specific types of illustrations. This suggests that the writing and drawings are linked through a shared logic. The problem is not that the manuscript has no meaning. The problem is that its meaning is encoded in a system no longer accessible. The manuscript's survival itself is remarkable. Many medieval texts were lost to war, fire, decay, and neglect. This book endured. It passed through royal collections, private libraries, and academic institutions. Each generation recognized its importance, even if it could not understand it. This alone suggests that the manuscript was valued for more than curiosity. It likely held significance to those who preserved it. Despite repeated claims online, there is no evidence that the manuscript has been secretly decoded or that its translation is being hidden. Every serious academic attempt has been published openly. The reason the mystery persists is not suppression, but limitation. The manuscript sits at the intersection of lost language, lost culture, and lost context. What makes it unique is not that it is unreadable, but that it should be readable. Everything about it indicates intention, structure, and knowledge. It was written by someone educated, deliberate, and confident. It was illustrated by someone trained. It was bound and preserved as a coherent work. And yet, its voice is silent. The Voynich manuscript remains a reminder that not all knowledge survives translation. Some systems vanish completely when the people who created them disappear. Technology can analyze patterns, but it cannot reconstruct a worldview that no longer exists. The book does not defy science, it defines its limits. It stands as one of the few surviving examples of a complete human system of knowledge that we can see, measure, and study, yet not understand. And for now, that is where the story ends.